Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Alex Eala's dream start at French Open. Manila, Philippines. Birthday girl Alex Eala seeks a historic feat as a fitting present to herself in round 1 of her French Open main draw debut against Colombia's Emiliana Arango Sunday at the Stade Roland Garros in Paris. Eala, who turned 20 on Friday, clashes with world no. 88 Arango at 5 p.m. MANILA time, with hopes of getting a payback in their second duel for a rousing start in her much-awaited Roland Garros stint amongst the sports titans. Already the first Filipina to ever play in a Grand Slam main draw, Eala is out to become the first winner too, for hopefully another deep playoff run like her unforgettable Miami Open campaign. A regular qualifier in the past, Eala gets a direct invite to the clay tourney, one of only 4 tennis majors in the world. After making it to the top 100 of the Women's Tennis Association (WTA) rankings, she has ascended higher from the ranks since then, now at a new career best no. 69 for a good momentum ahead of a revenge bid against tough rival Arango. Arango, 24, beat Eala in the qualifiers of the 2024 French Open by erasing a 1-set deficit, 2-6, 7-5, 6-1. Eala, who was once a girls' doubles champion in the French Open with Russian partner Oksana Selekmateva, this year pulled off a Cinderella run in the same Miami tourney with a historic Final Four finish that served as his ticket to the French Open main draw, as well as the other WTA 1000 and Grand Slams all season long, not needing to go through the qualifying round where she fell short every time in multiple attempts. A win by Eala would push her to the second round against either Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova or no. 8 seed Qinwen Zheng of China, who stunned world no. 1 Arina Sabalenka of Russia earlier this month in the Italian Open for a semifinal finish. One person reacted, "How do you feel about this article?" The clay was still damp from the morning drizzle, a soft rust hue beneath the soles of her shoes. Paris hadn't woken up entirely. Light broke lazily through the clouds over Roland Garros, giving the famous courts a sleepy kind of beauty. But Alex Eala was already wide awake. She always was on days like this. Her eyes, dark, determined, burning with ambition, scanned the court with the quiet focus of someone who waited a lifetime for this moment. At just 19, she had the poise of a veteran and the heart of a child with a dream. And this morning, she wasn't just playing for a win. She was playing for every young girl back home in the Philippines who had ever picked up a racket and wondered, what if? A different kind of debut. It was her first main draw match at the French Open, and while the media described her as a rising star, her story had already taken root long before the clay courts of Paris. Trained in the intense, unforgiving academies of Spain, guided by a family legacy of tennis and academic excellence, Alex carried more than just her racket onto the court. She carried a history, a nation, and a burning, personal promise. Her warm-up was a dance of precision. The shadow strokes, the careful footwork, the final glance toward the heavens, just like her mom taught her. In the stands, scattered between flags and cameras, was her family. Her father, arms crossed, eyes glistening. Her younger brother, bouncing with excitement. And her coach, stone-faced, knowing full well that today wasn't just about technique, it was about belief. The opponent was seated higher, older, tougher. But rankings weren't what mattered today. Alex's real opponent was silence. The kind that exists between every rally, every breath, every hope that rises before it crashes down. The first serve. The chair umpire called time. The crowd hushed. Alex bounced the ball 3 times, then once more for luck. Her serve sliced through the air like a whispered promise. Ace. The crowd clapped politely. A few Filipino flags waved tentatively, unsure if it was too soon to celebrate. But for Alex, that first point wasn't just a start. It was a signal. I belong here. With every game, her confidence grew. She moved like she belonged on clay, slipping into her rhythm like a musician finding tempo. Her ground strokes were deep and aggressive, her backhand a sharp arrow that pierced down the line. Every time she won a rally, she glanced toward her box, not with arrogance, but with a soft smile that said, "We're doing this." Her opponent fought back, of course. That's what makes a Grand Slam a Grand Slam. Break points, deuce games, long rallies that left the crowd gasping. It was tennis at its finest. But Eala held her nerve. Her face unreadable except for the eyes. Always the eyes. Focused. Dreaming. Unafraid. The flashback. During the changeover, her mind flickered back to Manila. Humid days training on cracked concrete courts. Her mother feeding balls under the heat of the midday sun. The night spent studying between tournaments. The sacrifice of missing family birthdays. Of living out of suitcases. Of learning to speak Spanish just to understand her coaches. She remembered watching the French Open on TV, clay dust rising in the air like powdered fire. She had dreamed of it then. But the dream seemed distant, like a movie set in a world she'd never reach. Yet here she was. Dream no longer deferred, just served. A nation watches. In the Philippines, it was past midnight. Still, living rooms flickered with the blue glow of screens. Cafes stayed open. Bars turned into watch parties. The country that lived and breathed basketball was, for one day at least, gripped by tennis fever. Social media buzzed. Hashtag Elon Clay trended as Filipinos from Luzon to Mindanao stayed up to see history unfold. And why not? This wasn't just about tennis anymore. It was about pride. Representation. A young woman standing shoulder to shoulder with the best in the world and refusing to blink. Back in Paris, the match reached its crescendo. Alex was up a set, and the second was slipping into dangerous territory. Her opponent found her rhythm, pushing Alex wide, forcing errors. For a brief moment, the dream looked like it might crumble under the pressure of experience. But champions aren't made when they're winning. They're made when they refuse to lose. The turning point. Down 4-5, 30-40, match point against her. Alex stood at the baseline, bouncing the ball. She closed her eyes for half a second. Breathed in. I've trained for this. She served, not her fastest, but her smartest, deep to the backhand, pulling her opponent wide. The return was weak. She moved in, calmly, like it was just another drill. Forehand winner. Deuce. She didn't smile. Not yet. 2 rallies later, she held serve. Then she broke. Then she held again. 6-5. Now it was her turn. The final game was a blur of noise and precision. A screaming forehand. A gutsy drop shot. A final cross-court rally that ended with her opponent netting the ball. Match. The dream begins. Alex dropped her racket and raised her fists, not in triumph, but in quiet disbelief. The crowd rose to its feet. Even her opponent nodded in respect. She walked to the net, shaking hands, then turned to face her box. Her coach nodded. Her father clapped. Her brother jumped up and down. And somewhere in Manila, a young girl picked up a racket. The post-match interview was brief. Her voice was calm, humble, grateful. She thanked her team, her family, her country. But when asked what this win meant, her eyes lit up. It's a start, she said simply. Just a start. Epilogue. The eyes of the dreamer. Years from now, they may talk about the titles she'll win, the rankings she'll climb, the Grand Slam finals she'll fight for. But they'll also remember this day, this dream start at Roland Garros. Because dreams don't always come true in flashes of glory. Sometimes they begin with quiet mornings, red clay, and a girl who believed she could. And if you ever look closely at a picture of Alex Eala on that court, victorious and composed, don't just see a tennis player. Look into her eyes. That's where the dream lives.